Okay. Hi, I'm Melissa, and for my final WOK project, I'm going to talk about an important event that happened to me at the end of my freshman year.
What event is that?
At the end of my freshman year, I was moving from Virginia to Thailand, and it affected me greatly.
How did it affect you?
Well, because I lived in Virginia for 5 years, I came comfortable with my surroundings, and I had a lot of close friends. And because of this, I did not want to move. I was very sad and angry due to the fact I was moving, and because of this, during my sophomore year, my grades and social life dropped drastically.
Moving did affect you. Have you lived anywhere else before Virginia?
I have. I've lived in 4 other countries before Virginia, but with these, I've never had time to make connections, and I was also very young at the time, so it didn't affect me as much. But because I'm older, I was able to make roots and settle down in Virginia.
Did you have any prior knowledge of what to expect in Thailand?
No, I didn't know anything about Thailand, but I knew a few things about Asia. So I was moving to a place that I had very little knowledge about, and I was worried I wouldn't fit in, or that I'd be the only white girl there.
So how does this tie in with WOK?
Well, the key points of this is emotion and perception. Because of the negative emotions I had and the perception that I would hate Thailand, when I came to Thailand, that was the mindset I was in when I first arrived to Thailand.
So what is your KI?
KI. To what extent does negative emotions and perceptions affect grade and social life? I wanted to see that even though you're really upset about something, if there's a way you can put those emotions somewhere else so that it doesn't affect one's grades or social life.
Okay, let's start with the emotion part. Tell me about the emotion you felt when you first found out you were moving.
Okay, when I first found out I was moving, I felt very sad and upset because I created roots in Virginia, which made me sad to leave because I'd have to move away from things I felt comfortable with and moving to someplace completely different.
Earlier you said that you were angry. Care to explain why you were angry?
Yes, I was angry at my parents because they were taking me away from the place that I felt comfortable with. I was comfortable with the people and the environment to a completely different culture I wasn't used to.
I see how that would make you angry. So now tell me how these emotions carried over to Thailand.
So because I was both angry and sad that I was moving, it put me into a mindset of that I would hate being in Thailand. And because it wasn't the same of what I was used to, I didn't have my super close friends who knew me well, and the culture was just completely different from what I was used to. So because I felt this way, I was permanently stuck on the past and how it wasn't what I was used to. So this transferred over to my schoolwork. ISB is definitely harder than Stonebridge, which is a public school back in Virginia. So during this point, I really didn't care at all. And because of my lack of interest, my grades dropped drastically. And due to this, I didn't want to hang out with anybody because they weren't the normal group of friends I was comfortable with.
So for emotion, the simulant was moving?
Correct.
And the reaction was?
Surprise. Mostly from that surprise, the emotion that followed was angry and sad, based on the fact that I couldn't see my friends anymore and I was being dropped into a completely different culture against my will.
I see. Okay, let's talk about perception.
Okay.
So what was the perception you had about Thailand?
Well, I knew very little and I was trapped in my own filter bubble.
Can you please describe what the filter bubble is?
The filter bubble is what we choose to process a receipt. It's mostly used on the internet with Google search. The first thing that pops up are directed towards your interest or what influences you the most is normally a key factor in what develops our filter bubble.
So can you tell me a little about your filter bubble before you moved to Thailand?
I can try. This is very hard because our filter bubbles are constantly shifting due to outside forces such as moving. Our filter bubbles will expand as our knowledge expands. So because I was raised off an American culture, I was not used to an Asian culture. I've lived overseas before, but again, I was younger, and I was either raised near an embassy base which is like a substitute for American culture. So moving to Thailand, I believe what I saw from movies that took place in Asian areas. So my filter bubble knowledge on Thailand was very limited.
I see. So because of this filter bubble, you had very little knowledge of Thailand, and because of the negative emotions you had about moving, it gave you a perception that you would not like Thailand at all. Am I correct?
Yes, the negative emotions did change my perception on Thailand. Because I came thinking I would hate Thailand, that's what I made it for myself. And I didn't want to participate in any school functions, and I didn't want to do the schoolwork, let alone try in any of my classes.
So how did you take these emotions and put them elsewhere so that you could get your grades up and make new friends?
Well, I expressed myself through art. At that time, it was a type of language, a way I can interpret my thoughts and ideas so that the world can understand what I was feeling.
Isn't language one of the 5 ways of knowing?
Yes, it is.
Have you applied this in any other areas of your life when you had a negative emotion?
I have. I started with it just drawing, but I've progressed to photography, jewelry, and painting. It is an outlet for these emotions, so I can express my emotions when others don't understand. And because of this outlet, I was able to realize that Thailand wasn't such a bad place.
Will it be weird for you to move back to the States?
Yes, but I think with this, it'd make the transition easier on me.
So let's see. We have covered 2 of the 5 ways of knowing, correct?
Yes, both perception and emotion.
And have you shared your knowledge issue?
Yes.
Okay. Thank you.